Yeah, so in this video, we are going to explain client communication and the top tips that you need to know to maintain good client relationships, have good communication with the client, a good overall vibe, and the most important tips that you need to know so that these clients keep working with you, like what you do, and that you don't lose them even before they have started paying you. So let's get straight into the video. We're going to go through 7 points here, or 6, 7, 8 points with the tips that you need to know in your agency work, your work relationship, and client to user sort of journey. So when you get the interviews, the first thing you do when you they want to see who you are, talk to you, and get to know you, that usually happens on video. And there are a few tips you need to be aware of that you should take into consideration. You should be prepared before the call. You shouldn't come into the call without having reviewed the work 5 to 10 minutes before, so that your brain is sharp. If you come into the call without reading it, or without being prepared, you are not going to land that job, because people can sense the security and the lack of confidence in you when you don't know and you don't answer questions. When you do research before, the whole tone, your whole aura changes. That's why you should, before an interview, know what is going on, know the project, and be able to answer the questions. This is very important. Just a 5-minute tips that can break or make your whole agency actually. Next, important thing, and again another small thing, have camera on. It doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter who you are. Have camera on and let the client look at you. If they can see your face, they know you're a real human, they see who you are, and they will instantly feel that they are working with a person and not some weirdo or something that they will not feel comfortable. You need to make them comfortable, and you have to do that by having the camera on. Honestly, there are very few situations where you shouldn't do that. Like, okay, sometimes you can have it off, or you can explain why you can't have it off, like, hey, I have this, I'm sick, or whatever. But usually you want to have it on because it creates a much better relationship with the client. And these things sound like not important, but they are actually very important, because this is all what the client can actually judge you for when they can't see anything else online, right? Next thing, you should speak clearly and at a measured pace. This will reflect your knowledge and how you are. When you come prepared, you will be able to speak clearly, and that will help you. But you should also ensure that what you say is clearly conveyed, and that you speak not too fast. You can speak clearly. Communication is one of the most important things actually. You can be a geek, a developer, a 200 IQ, whatever person, but in reality no one will know that. They will judge you by how you are, how you speak, and what you say. So these are important things. Speak clearly and be straight to the point. Ask a lot of questions. Actually, you think that asking questions make you sound weak and that you don't know. Absolutely not. When you ask questions, you are signaling that you are serious. You want to learn, you want to engage with this, and you are engaging with them to be able to do your work better. That signals to them that you are thinking. It signals to them that you are already working on the project. But if you don't ask any questions, they will automatically think actually you don't know, and you're going to find out. And that's not the best way. All of these things are what people are doing wrong. They think that not asking questions will make them look like they know everything. No, ask questions even if you already know it. Ask a few things to make sure that the client sees you are engaged. This is one of the most important things in the client relationship. And yeah, another thing, pay attention to their tone, their hesitations and priorities. If you pay attention to how they are, you can structure your communication based on that. If they start to be hesitant, start showing them proof. If they are speaking with an aggressive tone, you can match that, or you can go to the opposite. You can now be soft. Like, just take a look at how they are, and take your path accordingly. Again, don't go in half focused. Be straight in the video. Give all your attention to the client. All of these things are going to massively help you maintain good relationships with the client and even close interviews and calls. Go in all in, look at the camera, look at the client, ask the questions. These are, things that you have to do. They're non-negotiables to your client journey. Last but not least, demonstrate understanding, summarize the project in detail. Hey, I understand that you're looking for the AI voice agent that needs to do this, this, and this. When you speak like this, you are again demonstrating confidence and skill. And these are the most important tips for you when you're conducting the client interviews. Let's move on here. Roadmap. Do you need to provide a roadmap? No, not always, but you can. The better thing that you need to do is to explain the process for them, either on text or on the call, from start to finish. There can definitely be things that you don't know, and you just say, hey, I'm going to research this part, I don't know about this part, I will let you know about that later. But provide a mental overview. Like this, they know what they can expect from you, and this is the most important things. If you're leaving them in the dark, they will assume the worst, but if you tell them, they will think that you are doing great work. Next, break down time phrases and be realistic. No need to say the best scenario when it's not going to be true. Say it as it is. Hey, this is a big project. It's going to take me 3 weeks, but once it's done, you're going to have the best project. Say how it is and break down. In these 3 weeks, we're going to focus on this, the first week, then on the second week, then on the third week. No need to use ChatGPT. 3 sentences will definitely do the job. And then this ties into this point here. Set the expectations early. Tell them early how it's going to go. Even if there are some points you don't know, tell them what you think. This is very important because it will let them understand that you have a knowledge about this and can accurately communicate and collaborate with them, where they will understand when it's finished. And sometimes it's not about speed, it's about just knowing the date so that they can do their work according to your date, right? This is very important. People think that setting expectations means you should do everything in one day. No, it's just about having a date, even if it's longer than the client asked. Clarify what is included versus excluded. It's very important that you say this up front, especially as an AI automation builder. Why? Because what is included and what's excluded is what is going to determine how much you're going to work. These people, usually your clients, don't come from a technical background. They think that an AI can do everything. So they're going to say like, oh, but I thought the AI agent is going to, go to the grocery store and do shopping for me. No, that's not how it works. You're going to explain to them that even one feature is going to take you one week to build and 5 workflows, right? And so you have to very much clearly make them understand your work and the time it takes to build things, especially within what has been asked from the client. Next thing, don't overcomplicate things. You think that providing like a huge ChatGPT brief is going to make you sound smart, but in reality it makes you look dumb because you just copy pasted something and they can clearly see that you have not given any thought of your own in this. Keep it simple. 3 sentences, which is exactly to the point, are going to do much better than a whole book that you think you need to write. Lastly, align on the roadmap and outcomes, not necessarily the features. What is it that they want to achieve? What is it that they actually want? They don't want technical things. They will tell you, hey, I want to build an AI agent. What they actually want is they want automated emails that, for example, get analyzed, right? So agree on the outcome. You are the responsible person to building whatever system needs to be for it. You need to think like a system architect and not like a builder. Hence, you need to understand the goal of the client, because even if they come to say to you, hey, I want an AI agent, in reality, maybe an automation workflow is actually what's needed. So you need to analyze, you need to come with recommendations, and this is where the money counts. This is where you show expertise, and this is where you can align in the beginning, because maybe they asked for an AI agent, but you clarify to them in the beginning, hey, I know you want an AI agent, but actually it might be better with an automation workflow, for example. And this is very important that you accurately do in your journey. Next, pitfalls to avoid. Don't overpromise. Don't tell them about too many things. You can do it. You can speak bold. It's very important to be confident and to tell them, but don't overpromise, because you are going to get non-happy clients, and sometimes they can even see that you are deceiving them. So be realistic, and realistic people is actually better than those who simply say whatever the client wants to hear. Tied to the other one, don't agree to everything the client asks. Again, they're going to ask you a lot of things, they're going to ask you a lot of work, but you need to keep your boundaries clear, that you are not an infinite developer that will do everything. You have agreed to a certain scope, and that's why you want to continue on. And this is something you're going to experience happening a lot in your journey, that they're going to ask you for changes and upgrades, and you have to give them clear, expectations there. Regarding vague commitments, this is where it's important to speak clearly. However, there's a lot of times where you don't know exactly the answer, and you can say, hey, I'm not sure about this and this and this, but I'm going to do my best to see about it. We will see, we can try. Don't be too, when it's like this sort of scenario, don't say that short as that. Makes it feel like you just sent some words to make him stop asking you. In reality, provide a 3-4 sentence breakdown. Hey, I know you want this, and I will check it out. However, there are a few things to consider, and that's why I need some time to reply back. This is how you want to communicate, not being vague, but being clear. Improvisation in the middle of the scope, it might be good sometimes, but in reality, it is going to hurt your actual communication. Why? Because when you are sort of going beyond what is initially thought of and talking about things that are not in sort of related to the project, they are going to think that you don't know what you're doing. You're just talking about a lot of things. However, if you talking about the project and the goals and how to achieve the goals better, and you improvise like that, that is a good thing to do. Okay, another one, and I'm going to say I'm guilty here. I have a bad habit of multitasking. However, when you're in the call, take your full focus. When you're talking to the client, don't do a lot of things, like this, check this, go there, do like this, talk to this. Have the focus, don't multitask, and keep the communication clear. Last thing here, don't overload the client with a lot of technical stuff. They are not usually technical, and all of the technical mumble jumble you're going to tell them, it's not going to, really speak to them. You need to speak less in terms of tech, more in terms of results, more in terms of business. That's where you're going to catch the attention of the business founder or the client you have. So far, so good. I think these points are especially good for you to consider, but we are not finished. There is more. Let's go into communication guidelines. Let me see what we have already talked about. Yeah, don't talk too much at a time. Focus on one point and go into a linear sort of logical way of communication. When there's huge projects, you want to sort of break down everything, but you need to ensure that the client is onboarded with what you say. So when you speak, you can say, is everything clear so far? And you can continue. It's very important that that happens so that the client will like to talk to you. Again, simple language for complex topics, pausing, checking that they understand, being honest about the limitations and the constraints, and documentation of the decisions. So this is the last thing I think is the most important, that when you are on a call and you have agreed to something, you have agreed to X, Y, Z. Now, when the call is finished, send them like a small message to summarize that. Here is, thanks for the call. Here are the 3 points that we mentioned, this, this, and this. This is the basic summary of our call, and this is what I'm going to work on. Stuff like this really goes a long way. It keeps their sort of judgment of you in very high regards. So these are important things. Let's go on to the last 3 points here. Manage client relationships. When you're talking to clients, actually, you should be in the lead. You should tell the client what can be done and what can't be done. You should not follow the client. And this is where most of the developers make a mistake. Why? Because they come in with a developer mindset. They think the client knows more and that the client actually just wants you to do what they say. No. They want, in reality, 99%, a person who can actually understand what they want, build the best system even beyond what they ask. Then you have to, of course, tell them how the system is going to look like, but you should lead the relationship, lead the project, lead the building, and not just do exactly as you told, because then you are not showing yourself as a high value builder. Set the scopes around that clearly, of course, as we've mentioned. Push back professionally when the requests they ask are not up to the scope or to the goal. Say, hey, we can do that. We can do that at a later stage. You can say, hey, we can do that at the next milestone, but not right now because this is outside of scope, for example. And then, be consistent in how you communicate and in what you say, and focus on their long-term, focus on the long-term trust by, building the things for the long term and not necessarily getting the short-term reward. Okay, moving on here. Let's see here. It's very good to define what success is for the clients, because early on, things are not aligned. So you can say, hey, you're looking for this and this and this. What in reality will make you happy? what will make you happy with this build? Hey, actually what will make me happy is if I get 10 clients every month. Boom, now you have understood there's the success criteria, and you can try to work on that, right? And this is where you can define what that looks like. And if you ask these simple questions, they will start relying on you very much more. Yeah, so I think these are a few points that we have already mentioned. I think the last thing here is you should align on how many revisions they have. For example, sometimes you deliver a project, they come with changes. Deliver again, they come with changes. And this can go on in an infinite loop. So what you want to do is that you want to align on how many changes they can do, because once the project is actually working, all of those changes are just subjective upgrades which you can charge for as a maintenance system. So that's very important actually. And last thing here, after the call, as I told you, always have a small summary. Ensure you are on top of it, on top of the relationship, that they know that they can trust you. So you should write summaries of the call, the key goals, the agreed scope, timeline, and next steps. Always try to do that. If you have a Gemini voice recorder or meeting recorder, you can just give the script and get ChatGPT or the AI to answer this like with 3 sentences each. Don't overdo it. Just write like short message. They don't have time to read a whole page. They really want just a message with a small confirmation, right? So if you can do this in a few sentences, that would be the best. So this is how you want to manage client communication. This is one of the most important tips I've learned from 7 years of being, as a freelancer, working with agencies, working with business owners, communication and everything. It's crazy, crazy important. And this is something that I'm teaching in the school. Of course, either you see this on school or you see this on YouTube. If you are not a part of the school community yet, and at the moment of writing this video, we are at $9 per membership, which is going to go stage by stage up until ideally $199. Why 199? Because we are never going to stop improving the school community with workflows, top builds, implementations, tips, and you are going to see that you are making thousands of dollars every month based on the tips that I'm telling you in the school community. So that's why you want to join as fast as possible, because whenever you see this video, you are going to see that the price has increased or will increase. If you are already a member, I hope you like this video. We are going to give you more advice on client relationships, how to land clients and beyond. So if it's on YouTube, leave a like, comment and subscribe. If you see this on school, you can just leave a comment or whatever, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.